Hey everyone, last week I asked what people would like to learn a little bit more about in the fitness world. And this first week I'm going to highlight talking about nutrition and specifically my nutrition, what I do, and kind of my go-to recipes, things like that. Gonna start off with talking about just the difference in nutrition plans. For example, I'm going to eat completely different if my goals are weight loss, if I'm going for weight gain, if I'm going for just to be overall healthy, in the sense of if I'm trying to be just in general good, long-standing health, I'm going to need a little bit of body fat on me. I don't want to be sitting at 3% body fat ready to do a show. I want to have maybe, for me, I've noticed like 8 to 12%, somewhere in that range. I just feel really good. Anything above that, I kind of feel a little pudgy, bloated. Anything below that, then I have to just work almost too intensely on my workouts. I have to have such a big calorie restriction, and I just don't actually feel healthy. I feel depleted. But then on the other note, if I'm also an athlete, if I'm going for a performance-based, if I'm getting ready for, a football game, a soccer match, anything like that, like it's going to be, my nutrition's going to be completely different. So you need to know your goals as far as all that goes, in relation to your nutrition. My current goals, I'm just trying to be healthy right now. For a while, I kind of neglected my own health. I was trying to sacrifice health and mobility for aesthetics, and I found myself feeling just kind of crappy. My joints were hurting, my just general muscle soreness throughout the day. It seemed like I was constantly fighting back problems, and so I started exploring more into my mobility instead of trying to gain just bulk muscle for the sake of aesthetics. And in doing that, I found my nutrition was just out of whack, and I was not eating well at all, especially in the sense of not even like the calories. It was the micronutrients. It was just poor food choices, just calorie dense foods that had no nutritional value to them. In specific, chocolate. I was eating a candy bar or two, or maybe even three a day. Ice cream sandwiches, things like that, things that were just giving me a dopamine dump, that really had no nutritional value to it at all. So, and also you really relate that to how I was feeling. My body was hurting. My body wasn't feeling good. My workouts and my nutrition were kind of going hand in hand with that. So I did a little bit of evaluation on everything. And for right now, I am currently just kind of playing with my nutrition a little bit. And in playing with that, I'm doing 30 days no alcohol and also 30 days no added sugar. So the only sugar I'm getting in my diet is coming from natural sources, fruits, natural carbs, things like that, like grains. But even then don't have as much pure just sugar in them. So one thing I've noticed in doing that, going from all those candy bars to no sugar, is very irritable. I get irritable pretty quick. And just the cravings for sugar they get intense. And sometimes I just want to rip someone's head off in order to get sugar. But also that's a power of the mind thing. Just reminding yourself it's okay to not have sugar. So that's what I'm currently doing in the realm of fitness and my nutrition. So I'm going to walk through a current day, and I'm going to start off by saying this is my day and these are based on my goals. This isn't saying, hey, you need to do this because this is because I do this, you should do this. No, you might have to play with it a little bit. So I start off my day having, what's easiest for me is we make an egg bake. The pan just has probably 16 eggs in it. Then put some peppers, spinach, and either bacon or breakfast sausage in it. So hardly any carbs. And I just have my slice each morning, heat it up on my way to work, have that. And I've actually been putting some butter on top of it. So you'll notice that meal is very protein and fat heavy. And what I've noticed is when I have carbs in the morning, I end up getting really hungry really fast. And then I tend to eat more in a day that I have carbs in the morning. So I really tried to pull those back and focus more on the protein and fat. And a couple of things I've noticed with that is my cognitive function has improved significantly. I tend to feel more focused throughout the morning. Again, I don't feel as hungry throughout the day, especially morning. If I have carbs I get up at 4, eat about 4:45, and if I have carbs, I am starving by 6:30, and also with my schedule that just doesn't work. So those are a couple of things that I've noticed. I've also noticed my skin not feeling as dry this winter as normal, and I can directly correlate that to a little bit more fat in my diet. So then next is when I have my break in the morning, late morning, I will go home and usually I get a little bit of a snack. A big change that I have made is instead of snacking on like almonds or peanuts or cheese, things like that, I've just tried to have vegetables, trying to get nutrient dense foods. And what's nice is I found that I love doing it. Carrots, I found that I love cauliflower, broccoli, peppers, those are cucumbers, those are the big ones, and I'll just sit and snack on those. Getting a big micronutrient diverse profile on that, and I feel really good doing that. I'll actually feel full, and I didn't just load up calories at that point. So then usually after that, about an hour or two later, I'll actually have my full meal. This is where I start really introducing the carbs in my day. So pretty much just lunch and dinner are when I'm having my carbs. Usually it is some sort of pasta, just because it's easy to make, in the sense of noodles with some sort of protein. I've been going away from just eating chicken for the most part, and at least once a day I'm having some sort of red meat or fish or shrimp. A couple of days ago I put on Instagram that I was having salmon with some cooked broccoli, cantaloupe with prosciutto. So that was one of my lunches. Now that one didn't have as much carbs in it as normal. Just that's what I was feeling that day. Just wanted to grill since it was nice. But making lunch available is really important, just because some days you don't have as much time. So that's kind of what I do for lunch. Then, being a family man, dinner is always going to be the wild card for us. We try to instill those healthy eating habits with our daughter. Our baby is not old enough to eat yet, but so having those healthy choices, not just going straight to the mac and cheese or the chicken nuggets or anything like that. Ironically, she doesn't like chicken nuggets, but so with that, it's usually probably one of our biggest go-tos is some sort of stir fry, chicken, Instead of using lo mein noodles, we'll use whole wheat spaghetti noodles. Then the typical chow mein mixings, Chinese dish mixings. We'll do things like that. We'll do lately, since it has been nicer, grilling out. Had a couple of steaks last week. Just trying to be diverse in what we eat. I have found that if I try to eat the same thing every day, I'm going to lose my mind. I become a little bit more irritable. I also just don't feel as good. Just not having that micronutrient diverse intake, I just don't feel as healthy as I normally do. So then another thing that I just wanted to mention, really drive home is this is what I do. This is not going to be what everyone else should be do. On my rest days, I'll have to admit, on my rest days, normally the weekends, I'm not as diligent as I am throughout the week in watching what I eat, but I have found just in making those small changes in my weekly practice, that my weekend practice, I tend to not overeat. And that's one thing that I've really found is just because let's just say my calorie goals are set at 2,000 calories. If I'm at 1,500 calories and I'm not hungry, I'm not going to force it. I'm not going to force eating. And I found that helps me feel really healthy. Now, there's some days where I'm at 2,000 calories and all I want to do is eat a little bit more. And I'll listen to my body and I'll actually have just that little bit extra. Not going overboard by any means, but just listening to my body has been a big help in just being overall healthy. And in turn, I feel a little bit more mobile in my body, and I think that's just because my nutrition and my movement practice has just overall improved because I'm paying attention more to my body, and I think that's something that we lose. People, we tend to just we're so analytical and numbers oriented, and it's, I got to do this, I got to be exactly like this, and if I don't do this every day, then I'm going to lose. Well, sometimes we're not robots. We need a little variability in our life. Every day is going to be a little bit different. Some days you're going to feel sluggish. Some days you're going to have high energy naturally, and so it's going to be important to just listen to your body a little bit more. So that's all I had today. I just wanted to talk about that. Next week I will be talking a little bit more about the workout aspect, some of my favorite body parts to work out, some favorite true exercises, and I'll actually be in the gym with those today. I'm outside, just a beautiful morning, crisp morning, ready for spring. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section, and then we'll talk to you next week.